Well, the ancient Greeks, when they wrestled, the palestra was outdoors and it was on dirt and they were
Correct.
barefoot. So they were grounding, they were getting sunlight, and it's in their books of why that was important. Another thing I noticed is that when you watch the Russians train for years, they do a lot of work outside. Maybe they have their sneakers on, but they're outside. They're getting fresh air, they're getting sunlight, and they've been the dominant force in wrestling for some time now.
Right. And you also have to realize the other thing the Russians do in their training is they always use leather based shoes, and they're always using cold. And cold actually, it primes the mitochondria for even better performance. So remember, the whole game here, outside of what your techniques are, it's really about delivering more oxygen and controlling reactive oxygen species and reactive nitrogen species in your environment so that you're able to have supreme leverage, because that's really what wrestling is about. It's about hand placement, leverage, and having a good connection. Not only connection to the earth, but you also have to have a connection to your opponent. Why? You're actually using your proprioceptive sense to actually feel what that person's doing to counterbalance their moves. And I believe that the more in tune your senses are, which proprioception is a big one. One of the key things that grounding brings a wrestler is you will be way better on the proprioceptive sense, so that you'll be able to anticipate moves and and countermeasures much quicker. I think in all the MMA performance athletes, at least that I see, this is probably the biggest missing link to all of them. That's why I was kind of interested to talk to you that, a wrestler is now starting to use this. And it's kind of funny because, as you said, the history of wrestling is an outdoor sport. And now we've turned it into an indoor sport. We're seeing the same thing. For example, take a look at soccer. Soccer, they're all now playing with shoes that don't ground them. So they wonder where all these lower extremity injuries are coming from. That's where it comes from. They wonder where the brain injuries come from hitting the ball with their head. It's because they're not grounded. The NFL, ACL tears, Achilles tears. It's like off the charts. You hear the NFL Players Association, talking about, the fake fields. They're absolutely right, but they don't realize it starts with the shoes, not the fields. And just think about some of the players' careers who've been short. And what do we see? I mean, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 60 years old, so I'm a little bit older. I remember the days of Tom Seaver, Nolan Ryan, and Steve Carlton, where they could go out and throw 300, 320 innings, get 300 strikeouts. Today, you have supreme athletes in Major League Baseball. They're on pitch counts because they're soft. Their redox potential is terrible. That's now the norm in baseball. And I'm going to tell you, I believe the reason that we're seeing this, and I'm sure you guys see it in wrestling,